You may not believe it, but this is prison. And this is the same prison room. And this is the swimming pool, sauna, jacuzzi, and massage room of the same prison. Yes, believe that this is a prison. Of course, not an ordinary prison. Rather, the prison of a dangerous multi-billionaire whose business was smuggling cocaine and who was from Colombia. It means Pablo Escobar. Stay with Dark Fact, because in this video I want to tell you the story of this magnificent prison and tell you what happened when Pablo Escobar was transferred to one of the most luxurious prisons in the world. A prison that is probably more luxurious than most of our houses. You all know Pablo Escobar. He was the king of cocaine in the world. This man's wealth reached $30 billion in the 90s. Pablo was a criminal since he was a teenager, but the crime that made him a billionaire was cocaine and, of course, his intelligence. Because he was the first person who was able to create a sequential to deliver cocaine everywhere, especially to the United States. Pablo Escobar's goal since the 1970s was to bring cocaine from Colombia to the United States because he knew that he could sell there at a very good price. Pablo thought to himself that if he could deliver cocaine to America in bulk, he could form his own empire. In the late 70s, Pablo Escobar sold $3 million of cocaine per month. And when we reached the 80s, the most cocaine users were in the United States. And this high level of consumption and addiction in the United States made Pablo Escobar a billionaire in the early 80s. The 80s was the decade when Pablo Escobar made money easily. Colombia was completely in the hands of Escobar. All politicians of the country took orders from Pablo. But when we got to 1990, one of the Colombian presidential candidates named Luis Galan attacked Pablo Escobar in all his speeches. He said that all the misfortunes of Colombia are Escobar's fault. Pablo Escobar immediately ordered to silence him, and after a few days, Luis Galan was assassinated. This assassination shocked the American government. America said, "What does it mean? Do you have a government or does this smuggler have a government? So what are you doing there?" America pressured Colombia to stand in front of Escobar. When Escobar saw that the situation is not good, he told the Colombian politicians to be calm. "I will fix everything myself. I will go to prison for 5 years. You also calm down America to do nothing with me." There was no court. Pablo Escobar was the judge in this court. But he told the government that "I will not go to the prison as you say. I built my prison by myself and hired my own staff." He had so much power that the government could not say anything. Escobar built a luxury palace as a prison and hired all his employees. Before we see the prison, or better to say the palace of Escobar together, I ask you to like this video, comment and subscribe Dark Fact channel. The people who worked in this prison called it Escobar Hotel. Escobar was imprisoned in this palace, but mafia of his cocaine system was doing well. Pablo Escobar built this prison at the hillside and established a garrison there that could say he created a private army for himself. He had built watchtowers with very powerful cameras to monitor everything around his hotel. Escobar's luxury prison was built in such a way that it was very ugly and depressing from the outside. But when you went inside, you encountered a paradise. Like other Colombians, Escobar loved soccer. For this reason, he had built a football field in his private prison. It is interesting to know that in 1991, he invited the Colombian national team to the prison to have a dinner and play a match together, and the national team accepted the invitation and went. We said that this prison had only one prisoner, that was Escobar, and all the employees of this prison in any job and category were Escobar's own employees. A 5-star hotel that serves only one person and his guest. Most of the Colombian models used to visit this prison at that time. Of course, Escobar was not one to hang out with these models, and he said that he was very proud of himself that never cheated on his wife. In general, Escobar was not a party person. He was thinking more about developing his cartel and being able to export cocaine to the whole world. He worked all the time in the prison and managed all the affairs himself. In the morning, he sent a death sentence for those who should be killed. People from other cartels who interfered with his work should be removed from the way. Escobar spent 1 year of his life in this luxury prison, but after a while, the Colombian government called and said, "It is not possible. You are doing all your work here and no one can stop you. You should go to real prison." But Pablo Escobar said, "No, I'm not going anywhere." In 1992, the Colombian government decided to surround this prison with its army, but the informers informed Escobar before the army reached the prison and he escaped. Of course, Escobar's own army stood in front of the Colombian army, but it could not last. Escobar escaped for 16 months and stayed in different places in Colombia. In this situation, in addition to the Colombian army, CIA and DEA, which is the American Anti-Narcotics Agency, were looking for him. Escobar knew that if he was caught this time, he would be transferred to American prisons where he would be sentenced to life imprisonment and would not be able to do anything from inside the prison. Therefore, when they surrounded him in the last days, he specially attacked the agents so that he would be killed and not captured by the American Colombian agents. What a prison it was! It is better to say what a beautiful palace it was. Do you like Escobar or hate him? Write your opinions in comment section.